Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural edition, the series premiere of the James Miller Coaches Show, presented by the Credit Union of Georgia, the official bank of Reinhardt Athletics. My name is Lorenzo Robinson, play-by-play voice for the Reinhardt Eagles, and I am joined by the man with the plan, the athletic director of Reinhardt University's athletic programs, Mr. Jonathan Burton. Coach Burton, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Lorenzo, and thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming here to get this started off for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is your first full season in this role as the AD, as the director of athletics. Yeah. Just tell me a little bit about the transition as it's been for you, going from being the head baseball coach, the head man in charge of that program, to now being in charge of every athletic program on campus.
Yeah, big change, big difference. Obviously big shoes to fill, with Coach Pop and Coach Portier, and what they did for us to kind of get us on the map as far as, having sustainable success in Reinhardt Athletics, not just with one program, but all programs. And, there's always, bits and pieces from, each regime that you want to kind of learn from and have an opportunity to come out and try to replicate and try to improve. And I feel like we're starting to do some of those things now with, trying to improve some facilities, and we've got a lot of new young coaches. We've got a lot of different moving parts this year, but we're really excited about, kicking this fall off. We feel like we've got some really good young coaches with some good teams that are going to give us a great opportunity this fall.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought up that point about the new blood when it comes to the coaches around campus and whatnot. I know that Reinhardt and the athletic department has a big emphasis on family. So, what type of qualities were you looking for when it comes to finding the right people for these specific teams that you have here and trying to keep that family atmosphere that exists already on campus?
Yeah, no, I think it was important to find not only people that want to have a relationship with players. We want to find coaches that obviously want to put us in the best position to be successful, but we also want to find coaches that care about their players and want to be there for them more than just in the wins and the losses, and be able to have someone that these kids can relate to, outside of their game, and have that relationship. And during the baseball season, it's when you're an interim, it's hard enough to keep things going afloat, but then when you're also the head baseball coach and the interim athletic director, and then being tasked to hire 7 new head coaches, it's a lot on your plate. So I was nervous that, am I hiring the right people? But getting a chance to spend time around these coaches in the off season and in the season, and see how organized and how hard they're working to be successful and the relationships they're trying to build, I know we've got the right culture here. And I'm confident that with the leadership of these young people and how they're willing to follow their coaches, I think we're poised to have a great year.
Definitely. And I have to ask you, because you were the head baseball coach and you were the leader of a program that had done so many great things. So how difficult was it for you to sort of let that baby go and transition into this role? How hard was it to sort of put that to rest, so to speak?
Harder than you can probably imagine, just because I love baseball and I still love it. And, I think there's a point in time when you have kids and you've accomplished a lot. And there's a lot of things that I've been able to accomplish as a head coach that because we've had great players and we've had really good assistant coaches that have helped me be able to be a better manager of people. So, but that was a hard thing to do, because most people, when they're getting out of it, they're not having as much success as they had. We were starting to have a lot of success, and I was like, is this really the right time? But when you're built on faith and spiritually you have a plan in place, and you pray a lot, and you're around the right people, those things come to fruition a lot easier in terms of how you want to make tough decisions. But it's still tough. I miss it. I mean, I miss the guys. I miss the relationships. But I'm also thankful that we have Brett in charge. I got a chance to spend some time with him for a year as my assistant. I know that he's the right guy for this job, and I'm here to help him any way that I can, just like I am with all the coaches. I'm working as hard as I can to help these coaches have as much success as we can have.
Absolutely. And, again, that was a great point that you brought up when you talk about people usually stepping down when the program begins to tail off a little bit, but it seemed like you guys are really finding your footing as a perennial contender. So how excited will it be for you to see this team now from a different point of view?
Oh, it'll be. I will be at all the games, just like I try to be at all the games that I can. But I look forward to watching Brett put his stamp on what we're doing. But I'm also excited about all these other programs too, and what I can do to help them be successful to kind of get over the hump where they fell short a little bit last year. Because I feel like with what we're building here, they're going to be in a position to have as much success as they want to put into this. And I want to be here to help them achieve things that they've never been able to achieve. But it's going to be an interesting first year, but it's also going to be a fun one. And I'm looking forward to doing things like this that will allow the everybody to kind of be able to see what our athletic department's about and what we're trying to build here.
Definitely. And I know you're a busy man, so I'm just going to ask one more question. Sure. I have to steal you for one more question. Yep. If there was one thing in particular, it could be a sport, it can be a situation, a storyline. If there is just one thing that you could pick that you were most excited about going into this season, what would that be?
Oh, man. It would probably be, if I had to pick one thing, it would be to allow our student body to visibly see that someone is trying to make it better. Like, I don't know if that's really a storyline, but it's an important emphasis that I have, is that I want our kids, all 713 student athletes, to be able to see that there's a person in charge that's not just trying to work for coaches, but they're working for their student athletes. And I feel like they're visibly able to see those things right now with the things that we've done at this point.
Absolutely. Coach Burton, thank you for joining me for this. And
thanks, Lorenzo.
Always a pleasure to have you. I know you're a busy man. We're going to have to let you go. Coach Jonathan Burton, the athletic director for Reinhardt University. And now, folks, it's going to be time for the man of the hour, the namesake of our show, the namesake of the James Miller Coaches Show. James Miller himself, Coach Miller, come on down. Make sure you have that close to you. Yes, sir.
There we go. I'm here.
How you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm doing great. Doing great. Always good to come into a Monday with a victory.
Absolutely.
So excited about it.
Absolutely. And it wasn't always the prettiest game, of course, first game of the season, so there's things that you can improve on. But the most important thing is you got the win. So how do you celebrate a win like that, especially being the first game of the season?
So one thing I always learned from Coach Beamer when I played at Virginia Tech is you always celebrate victories, whether it doesn't matter how it comes, because football, you only get 10 opportunities. They're so hard to come by. You always enjoy them. You always celebrate them, no matter how good or how bad they are. A victory is a victory. So we definitely took the 24 hours like everybody else does and celebrated it, enjoyed it. And now we're back on the grind, getting ready for the next one. It's very in football, it's very short-lived. It's a 24-hour period. As soon as Sunday hits, you're basically ready to put it to bed and move on to the next opponent. So we looked at the film, found out what we did really well, found out what we need to improve upon, and what we need to do better in order for us to be successful this coming Saturday. And we're just attacking this week as strong as we can to give us an opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, and I already know that you're in that mode, thinking of the next game. That's just how it goes. But we got to dwell on this one a little bit. So
sure.
Just explain to me what you were most proud of, seeing the way that your team started this game up 42-6 in the third quarter after going through camp, going through practices and all of that. To be able to have that type of start, what does that say about the group that you have this season?
No, I thought we did a lot of really good stuff. especially in the first half. I think we scored on our first drive. Our defense responded after giving up a touchdown. We blocked a kick. We came into halftime up 28-6. I told the guys we need to start fast coming out of halftime. We kick it off to them. They go 3 and out. We get the ball back. We drive right down and score. Then we get the ball back in great field position, score another touchdown, and next thing you know, we're up 42-6. And I don't want to say they relaxed, but that's probably what happened. We relaxed a little bit because we were up by a lot. And momentum is a big thing in football. And when you lose it, it can be really hard to get back. And, we kept preaching to the guys, just keep playing. Things weren't going our way. But it was going to take one drive, one series to kind of get us turned around. And they cut the lead to 7, which, was kind of scary. But we kept telling our guys, just keep playing. We need somebody to step up and make a play. And Taylor Jackson really did that for us. He made 2 huge completions to Xavier Brantley back-to-back, and then Jamarian with a huge run up the middle and kind of put the game away. I think the weather, as much as I hate saying that, had something to do with it. I don't think the refs were doing the clock right, so the game was almost 4 hours long, and it was pretty darn hot out there, and it affected me. After the game, I was cramping. They had a kid cramp really bad. We had to throw in the ice tub. So I think all that stuff kind of had an effect on us. But I was super proud of our effort. We had no pre-snap penalties on offense. Nobody jumped off sides, anything like that, which was really, really proud of our kids for doing that. And we've been harping on that pretty bad in camp and continuing into this week. That's things that we're going to have to do for us to be successful. So I was super proud of their effort, though, and the way they came out and the way they executed and the way they played. And then the way we finished the game. As bad as it got at one point in the second half, we found a way to get the ball back, get a touchdown when we really needed it, and secure the victory. So that was good.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought up Taylor Jackson. This was probably one of the better games that he's had in a Reinhardt uniform. He's a 3-year returning starter, had almost 250 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. What does it mean to have such an experienced signal caller be the man for your team?
He's played a lot of football. He's seen every defense, every coverage you're going to throw at him. He's super competitive. He wants to win. Sometimes he lets that competitiveness get the best of him. But I told him the other day I'd rather have a guy got to slow down than try to speed up. So he just wants to be successful. He wants to do it for his teammates. And he's battled through losing his starting job to gaining it back to gaining our trust. And I thought he played really well. He made 2 really bad decisions that I think if he was sitting here right now, he would tell you he did. But I thought he did a really good job of operating. I thought he did a really good job of leading the guys. And he's talented, man. He's talented. He's a sneaky fast runner. He doesn't look like a super fast guy, but he can make you miss. He's got a little stanky leg on him that can make somebody miss, and he throws it good enough. And he's got a little gunslinger mentality to him. And I think if we can clean up those couple throws he messed up, which I think he knows he did it, because he came to the sideline and told us that's on me, I screwed up. So, I'm excited about him, see how we go moving forward.
Absolutely, and not just him, but when it comes to the receivers, the way they ran routes, the way that it seemed like guys were in position in general, it appeared that the passing game was really effective and efficient for pretty much the whole afternoon. And I know that there were a few bits of struggles last season when it comes to the passing game and everybody being on the same page. So was it a point of emphasis for you guys to really establish that in week 1 to try to get that going?
No, I mean, we always want to run the football, but we're also going to do what the defense gives us. We're not going to let somebody try to dictate what we do. We're going to try to establish the run. And then we're going to play action, and we're going to try to throw the ball when we can. But I think our receivers blocked their tail off for the most part. There was a couple guys that got to do better. And then I thought they ran their routes right. We had one bad mess up, which caused a sack. A guy didn't know what he was doing on a certain play. But I thought they played one of their better games since I've been here. Cam Curtis, Xavier Brantley, Ty McKee, all those guys did a heck of a job and really prepared hard all camp. And they're a talented group. I mean, I feel like we got 9 guys that can play. J.P. Polk got in there and made some things happen. Like, we've got 9 guys that can play on the edge, and super proud of the way they played. But I think there's still room for improvement, and I think there's still room for them to get better, and I want them to be a dominant group because I think they can be, especially in the run game. I think those guys can really block. I think they can be really physical, but they got to want to do it for each other. It's a selfish position, but when you can get them to be unselfish, it can be special.
Absolutely, and talked a little bit about what it was on offense, but now shifting gears to the defensive side of the ball. Adam Mwimba, somebody who wasn't a starter a year ago. This is his first year being a full-time starter, and for him to have the kind of game that he had, I believe he had 7 tackles, a forced fumble, a sack, easily the best game he's put together in the Reinhardt uniform. What does it mean to have somebody like him step into a position of being someone that you can count on going forward?
No, it's huge. He's been a special teams guy for us over the years, and now he's stepping into a starting role. He looks like a linebacker, short, stubby, thick, can run. He's actually faster than you would think, super strong guy. He's bought his time here. He's been here 3 years. He's been on scout team. He's been a backup. He's been a special teams guy. Now it's his turn to start, and I want him to really grab the bull by the horns and run with this position. And I thought it was a great way for him to start. I think Coach Gardner still wants him to play better, but I think it will come with reps. We had a lot of first-year starters out there, believe it or not, especially on the defensive side of the football. So I was excited to see those guys get out there and make some mistakes. But I think when we get it on film and we see what they did, I think we're going to make big corrections. You know, usually your biggest gain in football is from week 1 to week 2. So I want to see big improvement from that side of the football because I don't think we're a 35-point-a-game defense. I think we can play better than that. I think we got to develop depth on that side of the football. So we're going to try to get our backup some more good-on-good reps in practice. To really try to develop some of that depth. And really we got to develop it up front, especially inside. And I think if we can get those inside guys better, that's going to help Adam, that's going to help Jew, that's going to help our safeties just play better.
Absolutely, and talking about being up front and gaining depth in that aspect, defensive line has always been sort of the tone setter for this program. You talk about some big names who've been a part of this team way back when, and even to this group today. Emmanuel Olayton's a guy who was an All-American a few seasons ago. Nolan Marshall was All-Conference a year ago. How important is it for you to get that group to understand that they pretty much are the fire starters for the entire team?
When we were really good, like national championship, semifinal team, it started with our defensive line. Like, that's what we were known for. And we would put 4 guys out there. We didn't have to blitz you, and we were going to smack you in the mouth. And that's what we got to get back to. I think our defensive ends, Emmanuel and Nolan, are, I think, 2 of the better defensive ends out there. We got to develop a couple guys behind them. But when you're really good on defense, you're good up the middle, which means you're good at defensive tackle, you're good at linebacker, you're good at safety. And our defense tackles got to play better for us to be a better defense. That's Kyvon Rivers, Nathaniel Sanford, Devin Jackson, Danquavius Cummings. Like, those guys got to play better for us to be a successful football team. that's where it starts. It starts up front on both sides of the football, but it starts in the middle of your defense. And if we can get those guys to keep getting better every single week, like we thought Rivers played a really good first game as a starter. He made I think Fred told me he made 5 tackles from a defense tackle spot. That's pretty good. And he's big, he's physical, he's 300 pounds. That's what we got to have. And so Fred's working really hard with them, Coach Alexander, to get those guys prepared and get them ready. Because if we're going to be a great football team, it's going to start with our defense.
Definitely. And just going back to the offensive side of the ball, I can't help it. I'm an offensive guy. Ja Colbert, even though he only had 12 carries, in those 12 carries, he looked as electric as he has throughout his entire career. It seems like he just continues to develop and grow his game. Started off as kind of a gadget guy outside, someone you want to get in space, and has really transitioned into being an every down running back. Just speak to the energy that he provides for your offense when he gets going.
Man, he is electric with the ball in his hands. He can make a zero gain, a play that's going to be dead, he can turn into 12. He's special. He's not only a special player, he's a special young man. When he first got here, his parents dropped him off. I told him every day of fall camp, don't quit. Every time I saw him, walk by him, I would just tell him, don't quit. And he's a guy that stuck it out, got better as a freshman. We had to put him in the game against Lindsey Wilson in the playoffs because we didn't have anybody else. He played. Then the next year he starts, and he has gotten better every single year. He's a guy that was a low scholarship guy that has earned every penny that we have given him. He comes from a great family with great parents. His brother's part of the program. I can't say enough about him. I mean, I would definitely let my kids watch him, or him watch my kids. He's a better person than he is a player. But when he touches the ball, you don't know if he's going to score. You don't know what he's going to do. I love watching him run. I love the passion he plays with. He's the guy. He doesn't have great long speed, but he is hard to tackle in a phone booth. Like you can't tackle him. And he's gotten really good at what we do scheme wise. And he only had 12 carries because he had to come out because he was cramping, or else he would have had 20, 25 carries. We would have kept feeding it to him because I think he had 12 for 74. He was on pace to have a huge game. And I think he was going to get better as the game progressed, which is what happened Saturday. He just kept getting better. So if we're going to be a really good football team, it's going to be because of Ja Colbert. And he makes us a better football team. He makes me a better head coach. He makes Reinhardt a better place just being on campus. He's awesome.
Absolutely. And he did end up having 12 carries because he had to step out of the game, as you spoke on. And we saw some different guys get a chance to tote the rock a little bit. Someone like Harlem Diamond, who hasn't had a ton of carries over the course of his career. Some freshmen got in there and got some carries. A guy like Chris Barnes, who hasn't had a ton of carries. Just speak to the depth of that running back room, having so many guys that you can trust in a game-time situation like that.
Yeah, so Jamarian is really Ja's right-hand man. Ja's kind of the lightning guy. Jamarian's the thunder. Jamarian's 240-pound H. I mean, he's huge. Hard to bring down in the hole. Great human being as well. He actually was cramping a little bit too, and then we had to bring Harlem in. This is his first college game, and he gets a touchdown. His dad was so excited after the game. But he's a guy that's kind of a mixture of Ja and Jamarian. He's kind of a bull in a china shop. He can run you over, but he can make you miss. Chris Barnes is kind of taking the role of I can play H, I can play fullback, I can kind of do both. And then Isaiah Payton is a freshman out of Woodstock, which is a local school that he kind of reminds me of a young Ja. He's very electric with the ball in his hands. Now, he's been out for a little bit at the end of camp, so this was his first game, and I think he was a little slow. I think the lights were a little too bright for him, but I think he's going to come along and he's going to keep getting better. He's with us. He's staying up. He'll be traveling with us this weekend. But it's a group where our first two guys are really, really good. Harlem's really, I think, a really good player that can do a lot of stuff. He can play fullback as well because he's physical. And then Isaiah's the guy we got to develop and get better and keep getting him carries in practice to get him on the field more.
Definitely. And talk about another guy who stepped up for you, Ethan Rice. Ethan Rice, who played 3 different positions, somebody who came in as a prototypical, this is who I am, I know exactly what type of player I am, and then just really buying into the program. And it seems like anywhere you put him, he's able to excel. Just speak to what he was able to do for you on Saturday.
Yeah, Ethan, he came to us as a quarterback. He's from Tampa. We had him at quarterback for 3 years. It wasn't working out. And then really last year against Point, we were like, hey, man, let's throw him in and do some QB run stuff. And when that dude gets the ball, he's electric. Like, he can make it happen. And we got him this spring, threw him in at receiver a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. Still doing a little bit quarterback run stuff. And then this fall, I was like, look, man, let's just move him to receiver. He comes to me about midway through fall camp. I'm like, man, how you like receiver? He's like, Coach, I love it. I said, why? He goes, I don't have to think anymore. You guys tell me what to do, and I just go do it. And I was like, man, that's awesome. And he has really embraced it. He's probably our best blocking receiver. But the other funny part is during camp, because he's been blocking so much and getting hit when he catches the ball, he comes up to me. He's like, I'm beat up, man. I'm beat to hell. Like I can't take this anymore. So we had to give him a day off because his body's just not. He's gone 3 years of never getting hit, and now you're getting hit every day. So there's been an adjustment period with him, but I think he's really he's bought into playing it. He just wants the team to win. He's super unselfish. He is what Reinhardt's all about, and what I want our program to be all about, which is PTP, pay the price. What are you willing to sacrifice for the team to be successful? He sacrificed being a quarterback to play in a position he's never really played and turned out to be awesome. And I can't thank him. He's another kid from an awesome family, great parents. They're just great people. So I'm excited about him, excited to see where he goes. He didn't catch the ball, I don't think, Saturday, but he did have the big run for a touchdown, and he can catch. He's got good hands. He'll catch some balls before the season's over for sure.
Absolutely, and I just want to take this time to go to a quick commercial break. Please stay here. This is the James Miller Coaches Show, presented by the Credit Union of Georgia.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Buffalo's Cafe for the football season.
And then we'll bring in Jordan first.
We have one subpar year, which will be other people's best season ever. 1, 2, 3, here we go!
With the TFL motion to make. Jackson throwing it. McKee open down the field, and it is a touchdown for the Reinhardt Eagles on the left side. Trying to step on in, you go over Rice in. It's Ethan Rice in at quarterback. Rice making a move. Rice down the sideline to the 10-5 touchdown Reinhardt. The fake handoff. The pass is complete. It's caught by Cedric Colors. It'll be a first down for the Eagles. The handoff, fake handoff. The catch by Austin Davis at tight end. Davis making a move. Picking up the first down. A gain of about 20. Quick pass. The tackle is made by number 11, Adam Waleska, in about 3. And coming across the formation, the handoff is fake. Thrown into the end zone. Touchdown, Taylor. Taylor Jackson to Xavier Walker. The hole, it is good. And welcome everybody back to the James Miller Coaches Show presented by the Credit Union of Georgia. Of course, I'm Lorenzo Robinson. This is head coach James Miller. Now, Coach Miller, shifting gears a little bit to week 2. What is something that you want to see your team improve upon after their week 1 performance now going into the next week?
I want to run the ball better. We got to have less negative yardage plays. I want to see us throw the ball a little bit better, not have the turnovers we had on Saturday. Turnovers are killer. That's going to lose you football games. So I think those are 2 things offensively we need to improve upon. We need to keep staying, not having pre-snap penalties. That needs to continue. Defensively, I want to see us play more physical up front. I want to see us change the line of scrimmage. And then same thing, if you really look at what they did offensively, they got most of their yards on like 10 plays. We gotta cut that down. We cannot give up big plays. That's a huge thing on defense. You can't give up big plays. You can't allow big plays. We can't, the number 1 rule of a defensive back is don't let that guy get behind you. So we can't get beat deep. We got to play great coverage. We got to communicate better defensively to make sure we're in the right coverage and know who we're responsible for. But I think it's all things that we can make corrections on, we can do better, and we can play better come Saturday.
Absolutely. And Florida Memorial, a team that Reinhardt's not traditionally playing. When you talk about teams in conference or teams even out of conference, maybe like a Georgetown or like Cumberland's out of Kentucky, teams that Reinhardt has seen traditionally. Faulkner's another one year in and year out. What type of experience was that kind of going against a new program, so to speak, in Florida Memorial?
I tell you what, man, they had some dudes. They had some guys that could run. That running back, number 28, he could go. He was fast. They had some receivers that were fast. They did a lot of different stuff defensively as far as blitzing and bringing pressure. I thought they were big up front on defense. They had one defensive tackle was ginormous, number 94, 95. He was huge. I thought they did a lot of good stuff, and I thought they kept battling. They never quit, and that's a sign of their coach. Coach Jones does a great job down there preparing those guys. But they were super talented. I mean, I'm from that area. I know the type of players that are down there. I'm from Broward, and there's a lot of speed, and you could tell they had a lot of that speed on that team. So I think they got some wins ahead of them. I think they can compete for sure.
Definitely. And in general, you always seem to place an emphasis on having these tough out-of-conference games, going up against teams that you figure are going to have really successful seasons, sort of getting your feet wet, going up against sort of some measuring stick squads. How important is it for you to, year in and year out, have these tougher non-conference slates?
Yeah, I'm never scared to go play somebody. I don't care if we got to play in the parking lot or on some turf field that we found at the local rec center. I don't care. We'll play anybody anywhere. We're going to give it our best effort. We're going to practice hard. We're going to play physical. We're going to run to the football. We're going to do the things necessary for us to have a chance to be successful. And I want to play the best people because I think it helps you down the road. So I'm never going to be scared to play somebody. I'm always going to be willing to play anybody anywhere as long as it's within our financial means and it makes sense financially. And I think they're a good football team with a lot of great team speed, a lot of toughness, a lot of mental toughness, and it showed Saturday. And we've got another tough one this Saturday. I mean, Cumberland's is going to be a great football team. Coach Mathis does a great job. He's a Georgia guy. They got a lot of Georgia kids. They're big. They're physical. So we got our work cut out for us. So we just got to take it one day at a time. We got to win Tuesday. We got to win Wednesday tomorrow. And if you do those things, then it doesn't guarantee victory on Saturday, but I think we got a good chance to be successful if we do those things.
Absolutely, and I think you may have took a peek at my script because you had to know that it was coming next. Thank you for indulging me and extending your 24-hour rule, so now we get to shift gears officially to this week, playing up against Cumberland, Tennessee. Just preview the sort of team that you're going to be facing off against this Saturday night.
So they got a really good running back. They're going to run the football. They got one of the best receivers in the Mid-South. I think he's number 1 or number 2. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's a baller, very fast. It's a great challenge for our corners. On defense, they're huge up front. They got 2 defensive tackles that are 315 plus. They got a defensive end that's 300 pounds. They got another defensive end that's 6'5", 270. I think they're all transfers. They got one of the best linebackers I've watched on film so far, number 24, really good football player. They got a safety, number 8, that's very physical, plays extremely hard, runs to the football really hard. Coach Mathis does an awesome job. He's a great head coach that's been in NAIA for a long time, was at Shorter and some other places, and it's going to be – I'm excited to play it Saturday. I'm excited to go up there and have these 2 physical football teams. It's going to be an old-school football game. So I'm excited to see what happens on Saturday, and hopefully we can come out on top.
Definitely, and it's going to be a challenge because not just going up against a physical football team, as you said, a team that has a lot of talent. It's their home opener.
Yep.
It's going to be a night game. It's going to be a really good environment. They're going to be fired up. Just what's the message to the team this week as they get ready to go into this type of road environment for the first time this season?
Just take it one play at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. Focus on the moment. Focus on that snap. Focus on your job. Don't try to do too much. If you try to do too much, you're going to end up hurting the team more than you're going to help the team. If you just focus on doing what your responsibility is and making great plays within your responsibility, then the rest will take care of itself. Focus on the team. Focus on picking each other up. Be great teammates. If something bad's going to happen. How are we going to respond to the adversity? Kind of like Saturday. We had a lot of adversity Saturday in the third quarter, and I thought we responded on that last drive to secure the win on both sides of the ball because we scored, and then we made them go, I believe, 3 and out, and then we got the ball back, and that's when we were able to take the knee. So we just got to stay in the moment. Don't let the moment get too big. When I was playing, I used to love going on the road because you get called names, you get cussed out. It was awesome. I've had eggs thrown at me, batteries thrown at me. So I used to love going on the road and playing in other people's places and winning. There's no better feeling than having a victory and you get to do it on somebody else's field. So, but it's going to be a great challenge. They got a great football team. They were 7-3 last year. They got a lot of momentum. They played an FCS school, so they played a really good football team week 1. That was super physical, and we gotta do a great job of going in there and just taking it one play at a time.
Absolutely, and you said that they played an FCS school. Wasn't really a close game for them. How much can you glean really watching film from that game, and do you judge just the scoreboard? Are you kind of watching the way that they move around? What do you do in terms of a game plan perspective?
Yeah, I tell our kids all the time, don't ever let film fool you. So I've been at Reinhardt 12 years. We've won a lot of football games. When we play somebody, we always get their best shot. I don't care if we're playing, and I'm not trying to talk bad about any other teams, but I don't care who we're playing. We're always going to get everybody's best shot. That's just what we've established here. And we can't worry about anybody else but ourselves. We got to prepare every single day. We got to prepare the right way. We got to practice the right way. And we got to understand that every time we step foot on a field, that team is trying to kick our tail. And if we don't show up and we don't put our best foot forward, then they're going to play their best and they're going to hand it to us. And we can't just ever just show up and think we're going to win. We got to show up and earn every victory. And that's what we've been preaching. We preach it every day. And I think our kids are bought into it.
So this is the last thing that I'm going to ask you, and then you can enjoy the rest of your day, prepare. And, again, thank you for indulging me and extending your 24-hour window to talk about it. But word of the week, I'm going to do this every week, the James Miller word of the week. What's the one word that you have to say for your team, that you have to say for your coaching staff, the one word that will sort of dictate the way that you approach this week?
If I had to pick one word, grit. We're going to have to show a lot of grit. And you said it. We got to go on the road. First home game of the season. Night game. Tough travel. What kind of grit are we going to have when something bad happens? What kind of backbone are we going to have when it's 3rd and 1 and we need a stop? How are we going to respond when it's 3rd and 1 and we need the first down? We're going to have some major grit for us to win, and hopefully we'll do that on Saturday.
Definitely. Now, Coach Miller, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for taking part in this. And same time next week, right?
Man, this
we'll
is
be
awesome.
right back at it.
Wait.
Absolutely.
You got to deal with these two guys now. So, good luck.
Well, this was the head coach of Reinhardt football, Coach James Miller. Again, thank you for joining us. And now we get a chance to see one of the heroes from Saturday's win for Reinhardt, wide receiver number 17, Jordan Gant.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Bring it a little closer to you.
I'm good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You were one of the players of the game, the offensive player of the week for your team this week, and you've been a guy who has really been an important part of the offense for your entire Reinhardt career, now in your 3rd season.
Yes, sir.
What has it been for you to have that type of experience and be able to take everything, the good and the bad, from your first 2 years and sort of put it all together in year 3?
Like you said, it's been, now that I've got a little bit of time under my belt, it allows me to be a leader, not only in the room, but also to give my experience to the young guys and the people that are, transferring over, how they can adjust to it, and just contribute as much as I can.
Definitely. And I would say that the game that you played on Saturday was probably one of the better games I've seen you play here at Reinhardt. Just putting it all together, being able to go out, block, catch some long passes, the celebrations, everything. It just seemed like you were really feeling it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, just how did it feel to be out there and have that sort of game on Saturday, week 1 at home?
I'm gonna be honest, it didn't feel real till after. Like, I know it wasn't anything crazy, but it was kind of like in the moment type of thing. I wasn't trying to get too high, I wasn't trying to get too low. Just to kind of be consistent. That's what I've been focusing on every year, is be a little more consistent than last year.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And this is sort of a tough thing, playing for an offense like this, right? Coach Miller alluded to it earlier. He said you guys have about 9 or 10 different guys that you feel very comfortable having on the field at different moments. You have guys like Cam Curtis, a guy like Ty McKee, other guys who we won't even go all the way down the list. Xavier Brantley's another guy who stepped up on Saturday. But so many different guys, so many different mouths to feed. So what is your mindset on a week-to-week basis? It may not look like this for you every week, but how do you stay in the moment, in situations, knowing that it may not be your week every week?
Right. Kind of knowing that the room, like you said, is very competitive. Not only like the room, but our team is extremely competitive at every position. And I feel like that puts a fire under me and everybody else around. So what we do, kind of prepare ourselves, we never put one another above each other. Like, it's all about everybody succeeding. As long as we're all succeeding, we're all happy. Like, if I have a bad day, someone else can have a good day, and I'm happy for them. And I try to keep that and let that be our glue, and not just a person. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's our focus. Sure.
Definitely. And so you had a great week 1.
Yes, sir.
Player of the week.
Yes, sir.
Where do we go from here? How do we improve upon what we did in week 1 as we go to week 2 and 3 and 4? What's the next step for you?
Well, there's only up. So I just want to focus on continue to be consistent and continue to progress, because I feel like if I focus on that, I can never lose. You know what I mean? And the team can never lose if we continue to focus on that as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Jordan, thank you for joining me, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you for having me.
That's the offensive player of the week right there, Jordan Gant. And now we're going to get a chance to shift to the other side of the ball, the defensive player of the week, Mr. All-American himself, Emmanuel Olighton. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Big Uno, number 1, wearing that number 1 on his chest for Reinhardt University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You had a great game on Saturday. What did it feel like to be back out there with the guys for week 1?
You know, it felt great. You know, we've been working ever since January. This is where we want to be. You know, we've emphasized on all the hard work we've been doing since January, spring, summer, and fall camp, and we really wanted to start off strong. We really wanted to have a good start to the season, and I think we did that. And it was great just playing with the guys. You know, after the game, you know, you're just talking about how great you're talking about how you're playing, how'd you played, and you're just having a good time with your guys. So it was a great feeling.
Definitely, and you were an All-American 2023. Last season, you had another good year, 10 sacks. You came to Reinhardt, and it was sort of just understood the kind of player that you were, and you were able to sort of exist as just a really good player. Now this year, you're being looked to as a leader, somebody who's looked to bring guys up underneath them and sort of gather the troops and rally everyone around you. How has that transition been for you this season?
I would say that transition has been, you know, it's kind of a step, but I think, you know, coaches like Coach Miller, Coach Fred, you know, they're always texting me, telling me every day that I have to be perfect so I can, you know, bring these guys up, you know, these younger guys, guys who can play, and guys, you know, who aren't very vocal. At first, I wasn't really a vocal guy. I was just a guy that really just cared about what he did on the field and off the field, and just trying to be the best on the field. And I think that's another thing. If I can get better at, like, if I can be more vocal, that can also improve to my game. So yeah, it's been a step, but I think I've been getting more used to just talking to the guys. I've started with talking with the D linemen, and it starts from there. You start with the D line, and then you go to the defense, and then you go to the whole entire team. But it's been great. It's been a great learning moment.
Definitely, and I know that it's something that gets thrown around a little bit. We had the recipes a few weeks ago, and one of the honorees was Tevin McCoy, a former Reinhardt defensive lineman, someone who had a great career at Reinhardt, and there's always been this real emphasis on the defensive line and having that tradition being there. Is it something that you're aware of, and how do you feel like you want to leave your legacy into that mix as you continue with your Reinhardt career?
Yeah, it's something that I've been aware of. You know, Tevin McCoy is someone that I think the whole defensive line, you know, looks up to. We've when we're discussing sacks, when we're discussing like performances or even just effort, Tevin's always brought up, and Coach Miller does a great job of making sure of knowing that this is the guy who started when there was just, you know, rocks on the field, like you said, and but he always pursued, he always gave effort, and he always gave it all his all. So that's kind of what we want to bring to the D line, and I think with Coach Fred, he brings that energy as well. So he kind of helps us with that effort aspect to being, you know, just taking every day as a battle and trying to win that battle, so we can, you know, go out there and perform, give 100% effort, just like Tevin. So having someone like Tevin, who it's kind of like a beacon from a past, so we can look back on and be like, hey, this is the standard, and we want to reach that standard, and we want to continue to uphold that standard.
Absolutely. And last question for you. You had 10 sacks again a year ago. You've been an All-American. You've been an All-Conference performer. What does a successful season look like for you? It can be a statistical mark. It can be something that you want to accomplish. What would a successful season look like for Emmanuel Olighton in 2025?
This year, I have personal goals, but I really want to say, I want to put aside my personal goals and say a successful season for me would be a national championship for this Reinhardt football team. Yeah, the sacks are great. Yeah, I have a personal goal for my sacks. But if we can win a national championship, then the sacks will just come along with that. But I never want to focus on too much on the goals. I just kind of want to take each week day by day. Each week 1 week at a time, so I can perform at the highest for my team. And when you do that, the sacks will come along, stats will come along. But I'll say a successful season will definitely be a national championship for this Reinhardt football team.
Absolutely. Emmanuel, thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate it. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And this has been the series premiere of the James Miller Coaches Show, presented by the Credit Union of Georgia, the official bank of Reinhardt Athletics. I'm Lorenzo Robinson. I'm your host, and we will be here. The schedule is online if you guys want to know when we'll be coming on next. Thank you all for joining us, and please be sure to come back to us next time.